we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we record this podcast.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Quick disclaimer, in case anyone is listening to this with kids around, we talk about some sensitive, seasonal topics, if you catch my drift. Let's get back to the podcast. Hi everyone, welcome back to Green Girls. This is episode 4, 5? Goodness, where are we?
I'm not sure. I know what we've recorded, but I don't know how we're releasing them.
Yeah, so we've actually recorded maybe 3 more podcasts than what you guys will see at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it was going to be some pretty heavy stuff, and so we decided to plonk this light-hearted one right in the middle. So
Yes,
Michaela
break it
and
up a
I
little.
today are going to be going through Reddit, which is, a questionable place on the internet. And you might have heard of a subreddit called Am I the Arsehole? And we have got our intern Jake to look through, and he has picked a few Am I the Arsehole threads that involve veganism. So we're going to go through them today. Michaela, do you want to kick us off with the first one?
Sure can. Now, I haven't actually viewed these. I was told I will email you the links, but you are not allowed to look at them. So,
Okay. Should I read it at the same time as you, or just let you?
No, I reckon. Oh well, I mean, depends. If you want to read or if you want to listen to my voice, it is totally up to you.
I'll read
you
along.
feel.
I feel like I'm a weird learner that likes both.
All right, I'm going to do, this is the first one. Am I the asshole for giving my daughter's vegan friend meaty meals during sleepovers?
Oh.
So in that first title, I'm going to say probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Okay, so we'll start off. My daughter and her friend M are both 12 years old. That's so young. And like to have sleepovers every now and then. M's family maintains a strict vegan diet where she isn't even allowed to drink milk. Her parents are nice people, although a bit on the neurotic side. Okay, starting well.
Mm-hmm.
M is a bright young girl and she's a good friend to my daughter, but I notice how much smaller and paler she is compared to my daughter. I think it's likely tied to her family's diet. So lots of assumptions there already, but...
Yeah.
So whenever she's over, I always make a big meaty meal for them. Last weekend, I made some cheeseburgers and steak for them on the grill with a big glass of milk. M absolutely loves it and always politely asks for more, which I happily provide. For snacks, I give them some of my venison jerky. For breakfast, I typically make a big plate of scrambled eggs and bacon, and again with a big glass of milk. Despite her size, M always wolfs down whatever I make, and I have to say, every time she leaves, it looks like she has a healthy glow to her. I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I think M is a bit malnourished. Nothing against vegans or anything. She knows she'll get in big trouble if she tells her folks. I think she fibs a bit to her parents about what she eats. Am I the asshole for letting my daughter's vegan friend eat meat? Big yikes. I don't know. I mean, if M is like wanting to eat it, I guess, that's her choice. It's hard if her family is saying no, but I feel like it also kind of sounds like the mother of the friend is a bit like manipulative.
She's assuming that her diet is better than
absolutely, and she's reinforcing by saying every time she leaves, "Oh, it looks like you have a healthy glow." Like,
yeah, which
of course, I'm going to feel good if someone says to me, "Oh, you look so great."
Yeah. It is weird because if the daughter doesn't necessarily understand why she's following a vegan diet, then she might not have made up for herself whether that is the right diet for her or not. And so you can't really push it on someone.
I'm sorry.
Okay, before this podcast began, Michaela was saying that she needs to stop saying absolutely.
One down, one fail. That's okay.
If only it was a bit later in the day. This could be a drinking podcast.
Oh, yes, that's true. I mean, it can be. It's only 10:20 on a Saturday morning. We can do whatever we want, right?
That's true. If you're listening at night, guys.
Yeah, have a bevo on us.
Nice. It's fine. You're drinking with friends. Fine. We're all here together.
Exactly. Oh, gosh. I might also think, like, with this, I remember my sister had a party when she was young, probably, like, maybe must have been primary school age or maybe very early high school, and she had a friend
Yeah.
come over, and her friend's family was like very, very strict on what you can eat. No junk food, no snacks, like all really healthy. And my mum actually found this girl not stealing, I guess it was for people to eat, but taking the snacks that were put out and putting them in her pockets and hiding them in her bag.
Oh.
So it might even be like, oh, well, you know, you haven't experienced that before, so you get excited and go, oh my gosh, I need to have all this stuff, which, you know, might be the case of this girl being like, oh, I haven't had any of this, like, what is it? And also maybe rebelling against her parents, being like, oh, well, you said I can't eat this, so I'm going to eat it.
Yeah. I have so many questions. Like, does she understand what vegan is and therefore what non-vegan food is? Does she understand that what she's eating at this other person's house is non-vegan and what that means?
Yeah, well, exactly right. She might just be like, oh, we had the best burgers, it was so good, and like thinking, oh, it's a vegan burger or it's an alternative milk.
If the only burgers you've ever had are vegan, then you might assume that they all are.
Exactly. Like, I think in a lot of vegan households with kids growing up, you're not going to be like, oh, we're having vegan schnitzels for dinner, or do you want vegan pancakes? It's just going to be like, we're having schnitzels, do you want pancakes?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I feel like if I were this kid's mother, I would be angry. So I would say, you are an asshole.
I feel like the way they've gone about it is quite an asshole way to do it.
Yeah.
If it were me as the mother, not the vegan mother, the other mother, the one that like messaging Reddit right now, I would have spoken to the vegan girl's parents.
Yeah, like
and
adult.
said like, what is it? Why are you doing it? Like, does she follow the same values as you, or is it because she's in your house that she eats the same way as you? That sort of thing.
Definitely.
Because they are 12. And I know my old boss, his daughter decided to go vegetarian younger than 12. So she understood what was happening. Mm-hmm. And I probably expect that she'll go vegan in the future. But just on her own, she was like, I'm going to go vegetarian. I don't agree with eating animals. Cute. And I think the mum and dad at the time were like, might be a phase, I don't know. But they fully catered for her, made it easy to do. And she's just happy doing it.
That's great.
So at 12, she might understand, you know, obviously what vegan is, what vegetarian is, what that diet is, and therefore what eating an animal would mean. Yeah. So it might be that she's like, fuck you, parents. I actually don't agree with this diet. Give me all the turkey.
Exactly. Well, I think we might need like a little bit more backstory. This is always the questions are the unanswered. But if we scroll down...
Ooh, do you reckon there is some more backstory?
Oh, yes, here we go. So it says... OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. It's an ethical dilemma. Do I feed what I think is a malnourished girl against her family's wishes, or do I abide by what they say and contribute to stunted a child's growth? So she's assuming that this kid is like, I mean, kids are different sizes. Like, they develop at different stages, so it might just be that this kid like,
that's a huge,
is a different build.
That's a huge, like, I guess, medical and nutritional assumption. If this family has been vegan for a long time, they probably know more about nutrition. Yeah. Like, I've just got to say, between the people I know that just follow a regular diet and a vegan diet, the ones who follow a vegan diet have had to work at making it nutritionally balanced because they know about their diets, versus someone with a, and I just say regular diet, like haven't thought about their diet.
Traditionally.
Lots more of them don't really know what they're putting into their body. And they could be nutritionally in deficit, if that's the right thing to say. Yeah. Just as easily.
That's exactly right. So I'm just scroll down a little bit more and there's a couple of comments there. So someone says, I think Em is a bit malnourished, is where I deemed you the asshole. You are absolutely judging her family and her family's diet, and you're doing this out of some misguided form of activism. You think you're the hero here, saving her from some injustice. It'd be one thing if you were maybe just trying to make the kid happy one time and keeping a little secret, but you're doing this to make a statement. You're actively and defiantly disrespecting her parents. Look, I think in this instance I probably agree, given the information that we've been given. Like, there's definitely more to any story, but...
Yes, that's true. All we have is what's written here. I can't make assumptions.
No, exactly. Plus, it's Reddit. Like, it's all about judging people from the comfort of your own home, right?
Yeah, that's the fun side of it, I guess. And also, there are so many people that just make up stuff and put it on Reddit. Can't forget that.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny you say that. Someone's got a comment there that says, "This whole post seems fake to me, to be honest." And then just kept going on with their, oh, yeah, interesting point. I kind of thought of this. They said, I have known a lot of vegetarians and vegans, and literally every single one of them have gone horribly sick anytime they try to introduce a little meat back into their diet. If this kid has been vegan all their life, wouldn't they be getting horribly ill at OP's house? True. Like, if I accidentally have some dairy or something in a meal cooked out, like, I will know. It's not a good time.
Yeah, good point. I wonder what the case is if you've never been introduced to it.
Legit.
If anyone more knowledgeable than us knows about this, please send us a message. I'd really be interested in that.
Definitely.
Lots of people that I know that have become, what's the word? Like, can drink milk, but like now they can't. What's the actual term for that? It's not gluten, is it?
Lactose intolerant.
There
is
we
it
go.
lactose intolerant?
Yeah. Lactose intolerant. Like, I've got friends that have had milk throughout their life, and now all of a sudden they can't have it, or after a break from having it, now they can't have it.
Yeah.
So I really wonder.
Definitely a real thing. But it looks like all the comments are sort of thinking, yes, you are an asshole. Yeah. And someone says, also, what she described is way too much meat. Like, WTF, meat with milk, and in the morning, eggs with meat with milk. This is too much for only one meal and a breakfast.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Have you ever been like, are you one of those people who just drank a glass of milk?
No.
I don't get it.
It like, tasted weird for me even then.
Yeah, I feel like it was only ever like a cereal thing or like a, I don't know, a cooking thing, or I never ever actually sat down and had like a glass of milk just for fun.
The only time I remember like properly downing milk was my first year of university when I had some sort of tooth issue. I had to have a root canal, but there were a few days between me finding this out and the root canal happening, and I was in just agonizing pain so much of the day. Took a lot of drugs. Sorry, like good drugs, I'm not saying
prescribed drugs.
Prescribed drugs, thank you. And like painkillers. But the number one thing that really helped calm it down was I just would have a big glass of milk and I would literally just hold it in my mouth, like just milk. And for some reason, I think the not texture of it, but like something about it seemed to kind of coat my mouth, and that provided some relief. And that's it. Like I used milk then, and I think I completely was like, well, that's enough for me.
You've overdone it. Now you just associate milk with a root canal.
Yeah. Milk in a cereal, of course I had, and milk in tea. Took me ages to get used to like oat milk and tea, and now that to me is what tastes normal, and regular milk and tea is kind of bizarre.
Absolutely. Oh, frick, I did it again. I was going to say, like, Jake, I think it was since 2018, maybe he hasn't really had like traditional milk. He's been on the alternative milks, and when he used to work like with me or go to customers' houses, he'd be like, oh yeah, someone to make a coffee for me, and I'd forget to be like, oh, no milk or just black, whatever. And he's like, I'd get the coffee and it wasn't nice. Like, it's funny how you train your brain, your taste buds develop to something you've had more, and then when you go back to it, you're like, oh, this is not quite what I wanted.
Milk could have like a strange aftertaste.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had milk in a long time, at least aware.
Yeah, I know I have had milk because sometimes it's on like serious offers. And actually the main reason why I ever have milk now, and I suppose it's Milk Light because that's what people seem to buy these days. When I run out of milk in the office, I'm like, there's open milk here. I've done that. Maybe that's a guilty secret from me. Maybe. That and the cookies. If there are cookies at work, I can't stop myself.
Oh, look, I feel like I'm sort of, it's probably good that I'm vegan because there's like, cookies, snacks, everything. I just don't even look at them because I know I can't eat them. So it's like, it's good. But I don't feel like I'm missing out. Like every now and then you're like, oh, that cookie looks delicious. But it's sort of like almost a forced diet because I'm not just like snacking because it's there. Like I physically have to go source the foods that I can eat. So it's more like effort. So
Yes, that's so true.
that's
And
kind of
I
good.
should have that outlook as well, just for my own, like, no, like, come on, stick to your guns.
I mean, I eat a lot of junk food even without that fact. So
You're like, right, so you know you need to be prepared, so you're really prepared and have like
yeah,
a
I
cupboard
eat a
full
lot
of
beforehand. Exactly, exactly. Come with pockets full of snacks.
Yes. Oh, now that I know those cookies are so good from Woolworths,
Oh yeah, the granola cookies.
love them. Oh my god. All my
So
money's
good.
going there now. Okay, well, that person sounds like they did a lot of assholery, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think all the comments sort of agree as well. Also, I don't really use Reddit that much, but I'm learning. Like they've got here YTA, so I was like, oh, you're the asshole. And then like people comment
Ah,
why,
what do you
and
think?
yeah, look, to me, it looks like everyone has said yes, you are the a-hole. So
Yeah.
we'll link these anyway, and you can have a
Mm,
bit of a read through the comments because I think we'll be here forever.
you can be a judgy judge as well.
Yeah, have a good look.
Yes.
Mm.
All right,
Mm-mm-mm.
I'll go to the next one. I don't know if I
Yep,
clicked them in the right order or anything.
totally fine. I'll find the right title.
Okay. Am I the asshole for not accommodating my brother's vegan fiance? Dun. This could be about you. Aw. Okay. Full disclosure, I do not eat meat, eggs, and dairy.
Oh,
That
wait,
being
I
said,
do eat meat.
oh wow, I can't read. Listen, blah blah blah.
That
Full
would have been a very
disclosure.
different story.
I just read what I want to see.
Yeah, I do not eat meat.
Okay, full disclosure, I do not. Wow, I can't read. Shall we start again? What? Okay.
Yeah, refresh. Mm-hmm.
Full disclosure, I do eat meat, eggs, and dairy. That being said, I'm lazy and prepping and cooking meat takes more work than I'm willing to do a lot of the time. So I've built up a pretty okay repertoire of vegan and vegetarian meals. That's why I volunteered to cook last night for a small family dinner, even though I would normally never. I love my mum to bits, but if the first step isn't browning a pound of ground beef, she's a little lost on what to make.
Bless.
This is all a thing because my brother has recently gotten engaged to a vegan woman. None of us have really spent a lot of time with her due to pandemics and generally having our own lives. The time I have spent with her has been perfectly nice. I thought this would also be perfectly nice. So I did my best. I put together a Dijon vinaigrette salad, pasta tossed with roasted asparagus and cherry tomatoes. And because this is America, where carb on carb doesn't have to be just a dream, some bread I fucking vetted. Oh, yeah, to make
Yeah.
sure it didn't have milk or eggs in it. Fair enough, fair enough. She could
Yeah,
eat every
that's
single
some
thing I
solid effort,
served.
though.
Yeah, good job, dude.
Mm.
At least I thought so. Oh,
Oh.
we sit down, plates are dished, she has questions. Whatever, fair enough. I can imagine that she's been in situations where things seem safe to eat, but surprise, there's honey in the salad dressing or something like that. Reassurances are made, I did my homework, but she has other complaints. You roasted the veggies in olive oil? There's olive oil in the salad dressing? The pasta isn't whole wheat? This is white bread? Yes, vegan, all of it, but not stripped down to as fewer calories as possible. And now she won't eat. She just sat there and tore one of the rolls up into tiny pieces until the table was cleared.
What?
Ew. Okay.
But it's all vegan. I guess that's just a dietary preference that she doesn't want to eat. Oh, well, you could have specified before, these guys just made a whole meal.
Yeah. All right. My brother texted me later that night about how fucked up it was that she had to go home hungry. And this is where I may be the asshole. I replied something in the effect of saying, I thought I had to cook to accommodate veganism, not an eating disorder. He told me to
Okay.
go fuck myself, which again, fair. Now I imagine a Cold War is brewing and my mum is inevitably going to get sucked in. I also could have tried to make something healthier, though I don't think what was served was that bad. Am I the asshole?
What?
Okay.
No, at first glance, I don't think so. I feel like the effort was all there. Like, obviously, yes, people have very different ideas of veganism, but it's still technically vegan. It just might not be as healthy as this person would normally eat.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah, I agree. He accommodated vegan. Like, look, what he said to
Yeah.
his brother was
yeah,
pretty,
that's probably
pretty
not
shit.
okay. Yeah. But I can
Because
I
it's
can
not an eating
understand it.
disorder. It's just she wants to eat
No.
a certain way. But he was not
Exactly, a
told that.
preference.
It's
No.
not. It's
Well,
not
we
his
don't know.
fiance.
That's
It's his
true.
brother's fiance. So if his brother said, "Look, she eats this way," then
Mm.
it sounds like he would have tried to accommodate that because he already tried to
Yeah.
accommodate the vegan part.
Exactly. I agree.
So,
Ugh,
yeah.
that's frustrating too, though, because like someone's made the effort to make sure that she can eat everything and bread. Like it's hard sometimes to find, a particular bread, especially if I feel like in America.
Yes. I think
But
America
like
just throws ingredients around willy-nilly. Like, does it need butter? No.
Absolutely.
Will it be there? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I feel like the effort was there, and it just means that, personal preference. Like some people prefer salads, some people prefer pasta. I'm definitely a pasta gal, but I would
Oh,
eat that. I feel like
100%.
that sounds like a good
That
meal.
sounds so good. This guy can come over.
Yeah, and look, I think the way it was handled in the end was probably not ideal.
Mm.
Even the brother texting originally being like how effed up it was that she had to go home hungry. It's like, well, she didn't have to. Like, it was all vegan. It just wasn't her normal taste.
Yeah. And I feel like some courtesy would have been great there. To say thank you so much for trying. I happen to not be able to eat it for these reasons. And if she is that fussy, then usually you would know to specify that beforehand.
Definitely. Even the brother too, like the brother of the fiance could have worded up the brother who was cooking, being like, hey, just by the way, she's quite particular and she won't eat these things. So maybe if we could do this meal instead. Or like, hey, I'm happy to help you. I can bring some goodies or
Yes, yeah. Any sort of extra communication would have been great here. For the actual title, even, Am I the Arsehole for Not Accommodating My Brother's Vegan Fiance? It sounds like this guy really did try to accommodate the vegan fiance.
Agree.
He just didn't know what that would actually entail.
Let's have a look at what other people think. Yeah, so I think the only way he could have been the asshole is for saying that she has an eating disorder.
Yeah, for sure.
Do agree.
That was very rude.
Yeah, not very good.
There's already people like, wait, what's wrong with olive oil?
Fatty oil? I don't know. Olive oil's the best.
It just tastes delicious. What could be wrong with it?
Absolutely. Well, here you go. It sounds like his fiance is whole food plant-based, which is a type of veganism, but most vegans are not this way. Yeah, so it should have been communicated as something other than simply vegan.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That kind of goes back to one of our secret listeners the other week who was vegan and gluten-free. And people forgot about the gluten-free part. And so she was like, screw it, I'll just go to being gluten-free and not... So people remember that and not the vegan part.
Prioritizing the one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like she needed to stress whole food plant-based, not just plant-based or not just vegan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many comments we want to read through. I think we're both pretty on the same page about this one. That the effort was there and...
Honest mistake. Yeah, heaps of effort went into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, everyone says you did accommodate her. You knew she had one dietary restriction. You cooked everything vegan, not just vegan options. That's true, actually. Every single thing was vegan. It wasn't just like, oh, well, this side and this side's vegan. It was the whole thing.
Yeah. Not the asshole.
No, agreed. Someone says here, if I were you, I'd be super passive-aggressive and say something along the lines of, I'm so sorry I haven't upgraded my seer abilities yet and thus was unable to just guess your girlfriend's food restrictions. I'll let you know when I'm a full-on psychic so I can have all the information without anyone telling me, and then you'll be welcome to my house again.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, damn. Oh. Don't cross that person.
Shots fired.
Oh.
All right.
Good.
We have one last asshole story today.
Yes. And that is, am I the asshole for being vegan and pushing my friends' kids to stop eating meat? So, I, 30 female, have been vegan for over 10 years for ethical reasons. I'm also non-confrontational as hell and pretty shy, so I wouldn't say I'm a pushy vegan by any means. I am friends with and often eat with omnivores, and my family isn't even vegan or vegetarian.
Okay. Sounds very relatable right now.
Yeah, well, I know. Exactly. My friend Rachel, 32 female, is a single mum and asked if I would mind letting her daughter, Rosie, 5 female, stay with me for a few days so she could get a bit of a break. I love the kiddo and don't have a kid, so I said yes. Rachel was even kind enough to send over pre-made meals and snacks so I didn't have to cook.
Aww,
damn.
That's pretty good.
That's very good. It's important to note that I don't eat meat substitutes often, so my meals looked very different from Rosie's, as the protein was beans, tofu, etc. Rosie asked me why I didn't ever have chicken, like her. I just said, some people don't like to eat animals, but your family does, and that's okay too. She looked confused and said she doesn't eat animals. I just let it go and changed the subject as I figured she misunderstood me. She went home the next morning. When she went home, I got a very angry call from Rachel. Apparently, Rosie is a big animal lover, so Rachel told her, oh my gosh. Sorry, my eyes read ahead and my brain didn't.
I've just read there.
Oh, okay, start again. Apparently, Rosie is a big animal lover, so Rachel told her that chicken, beef, etc. grew on trees so she wouldn't get upset. I don't have kids, so I don't know how she pulled this off, but whatever. Rachel came clean as Rosie wouldn't stop asking. It has been 2 weeks and Rosie will not eat meat and is apparently distrustful of anything her mom serves her. Rachel is pissed at me and says this is my fault and this is something all parents tell their kids. I have never, ever, ever heard anyone tell their kids that meat grows on trees.
No way. Even, I don't think it would, well, it probably was explicitly told to me at some point. But
yeah, I don't remember.
I was never told, like, I think it was maybe a topic that potentially was avoided. Potentially.
Yeah, this is food, and
but
that's
it was never,
what it is. It's just food.
Yeah, it was never lied about.
Oh my gosh. But imagine that, like 5, I feel like is it's not like, it's young, but they can comprehend things. Like imagine going to school and being like, oh, that cow tree or whatever, and then everyone else being like, what the F?
Yeah, they would laugh at them. Like at some point someone's going to say, no, that came from an animal.
No, have you seen that video of that little girl? It was like quite a few years ago now, and she's like mid-meal and then realizes what it is, and she's just like crying whilst the mum or the dad explains to her like, yeah, that's what this is, that's this animal, and the kid's like, but why? I don't want to eat that. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah, okay, I think a lot of kids would really appreciate knowing what they're eating.
I think so. And I feel like this obviously just goes to show that at that age, they can still make the decision if, they don't want to eat that.
Yeah. Yeah. Goodness. Honestly, this sounds like because the parents are comfortable eating this way and it would be very time consuming to then cook another way. They're like, you should eat what we eat and I will lie to you to make sure that you do, because I know the truth would upset you.
But I wonder how that conversation, like that topic even came up. Like, was Rosie like, oh, Mum, what's this? And then the mum was like, oh, that's beef. And she's like, what's beef? And she says, oh, it grows on trees.
Yeah.
But it's funny because then you have all of these, like, I see all these books, all these toys with like animal sounds. And you got the picture of the cow and you press the button and it goes moo. Or you have, the chicken and it's like, what does the chicken say?
Do you remember Friends? Phoebe sings a song. Which I will sing it for you now. She's like, the cow in the meadow goes moo. The cow in the meadow goes moo. The farmer comes up and bumps him on the head, and that's how we get hamburgers.
Yes, I do remember that.
Like, Rosie would have found out. She would have found out one day.
Yeah, it's so sad. All right, I'll go. Keep going. She says, oh, yeah. I feel really bad. Rachel has a lot on her plate, and this is adding stress. I thought I explained it in a child-appropriate way, but I guess I did not. Am I the arsehole? And she says, edited to add to answer some common questions. So, 1, what was the game plan for when Rosie inevitably found out? I'm wondering this too. I have no idea. 2, how could Rachel not bring this up to you knowing you are vegan? Rachel and I, for some reason, do not have meals together often. I don't think we have in years. We are both super busy people, especially Rachel, and mostly just grab quick coffee when we want to hang out. Since my diet doesn't come up often, I don't think it was on her mind and she might have forgotten. And then number 3, Rachel just dumped her kid on you? Is she such a terrible mother? And she says, Rachel and I have known each other for a long time, 10 plus years, and she trusts me. She does not leave Rosie with casual acquaintances. Her BD, I assume is baby daddy, is a deadbeat who doesn't participate in Rosie's life, so she doesn't have many affordable childcare options.
Well, that's pretty understandable, and yeah, she could have just forgotten about the dietary thing.
Definitely. I mean, but it was nice enough, like, she gave her pre-cooked meals for her kid. Like, that's pretty damn thoughtful.
Yeah, that's true. And you could assume at that point that it means, oh, she did remember that her friend is vegan and therefore wanted to make sure that her daughter had meals, like meals that she was comfortable with,
Mm.
that therefore a vegan friend didn't have to cook herself.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not surprised that Rosie was like, "Oh, what are you eating? Like, why is that different to what I'm eating?" Because like I feel like kids
Yeah.
that age ask a bajillion questions.
Oh, yeah,
So
for sure.
she would have been like, "Why is it different? Why am I eating
Mm.
this?"
Mm. And there are still things that I'm finding out today. Like the amount of people I tell the baby chick thing to. Like
People don't know.
even that have chickens, like as adults, they're
Really?
finding out that male chicks are like basically killed at birth
Yeah.
because they're useless in the industry.
Yeah.
And like, I guess I probably found that out, I don't know, 5 years ago. So I was an adult as well. And like, there are these things that we find out. We're like, oh, okay, that's new information. That changes how I think about it. And now I need to decide if I'm
Absolutely.
okay with it or not. So it's this girl who's, what is it, 5?
5,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, okay. Now I have the information that what I'm eating comes from an animal and I love animals and I'm not okay eating them. Sucks for this person's mother that has a lot on her plate and now has to accommodate and deal with it. But she has to now.
But I
Sorry.
feel like, exactly, I get like sometimes, yes, you can tweak the truth to your kids. Sometimes it's necessary. But I feel like that is a vital piece of information for a human being. Like to know what you're eating or to know where things come from and to know, you know, like what is the cow? What is chicken? What is all of that? So
yeah, and to be honest, actually, as well, the author, whatever they're called, the person that wrote this, did say it in a fairly good way, saying like, "Oh,
yeah,
well,
what
some
she
people choose to eat animals, some people don't. Your family chooses to eat them, and that's okay." But
yeah, one of the comments is quote, "Chicken and beef grow on trees." This is something all parents tell their kids. Nope, she made a stupid lie and was inevitably caught out. What would this child have said if she'd seen, I don't know, an actual chicken running around? Or if someone at school had told her the same thing as OP did? In actuality, it's probably the lie that's made the child so distrustful, not what the original poster told the child about their own veganism.
Yes, that is so true.
True. What do you do when you're like down, you know, seeing a chicken? Yeah. What's that? Oh, nothing.
Yeah. And someone is going to say at some point, and like, okay, maybe at 5 you don't put the 2 and 2 together, that there happens to be an animal called chicken and a food called chicken.
Yeah.
But at some point they will.
The next one says, I mean, I have certainly dodged the question when my kids were at a sensitive age in a picky eater stage. I knew that reminding them chicken came from chickens would mean they wouldn't eat it for 3 days. But I cannot imagine outright lying to my child about where meat comes from. Also, they have children's books about farms. It feels like something that comes up before they even really start talking. Yeah, which is what I was talking about with the books that like make sounds.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this person says, when I was a little kid, I found out where asparagus came from, and that was basically grass, and I flipped out and refused to eat asparagus for like 6 months.
What the hell?
It really freaked me out that asparagus grew like grass instead of like a tomato. I can very clearly remember my feelings of betrayal and revulsion.
Oh, the betrayal.
Oh, bless. No, it's too funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think they are. It's just an unfortunate situation. I feel like exactly what you said, that she handled it well and just said, oh, some people don't like to eat animals, but, you know, some people don't mind.
Yeah. I
mean,
can't remember.
If you hadn't been given prior knowledge, being like, oh, don't talk to my kid about what you're eating or don't say anything about, you know, how are you to know?
Yeah. So I'm just reading back again because it sounds like, sorry, the person writing it doesn't have a name. So like the author didn't know before saying this stuff to the daughter that the daughter believed chicken and beef grew on trees. So like, what was she to do in that scenario? Like, if Rachel had said Rosie believes this beforehand, then there would have been an ethical dilemma of, do you lie or do you tell the truth? But this wasn't even that. It was, they thought they were saying a very child-friendly thing. And it turns out that Rachel had already previously lied, which you're quite right. And like the commenter below is quite right. Like, yeah, that lie breeded the distrust. And now Rosie is really distrustful of all food.
Yeah, exactly. There's another comment here from the point of view of a parent, and then the same thing, like she says, as a mum myself, I've never told my son this lie. He knew he was eating chicken, but he didn't link it with Chicletta from Paw Patrol until one day on the show something was mentioned about eating chicken. He asked me if he was eating, or is it Chicletta? I don't know the show. Anyway, I said no, she was a cartoon, but some animals are bred for food for us to eat. He asked me what other food was animals, so I told him the truth, and he was okay with it. Then he asked, was hot dogs really dogs? I said no, it's still a sausage, no dogs in it. If you aren't truthful to your kids, then they won't trust you. God help us with the Tooth Fairy and Father Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me and Tarek have actually had conversations about that, and because he's on the side of wanting your kids to know the truth from the word go, whereas I had Father Christmas as a kid. Didn't do me dirty believing it at all, and like maybe things like that are great for imagination, but kids have so much imagination anyway, and like will believe at fairies at the end of the garden without you saying fairies exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've actually now come to the side of like, yeah, you know what? I don't mind if kids do, if my kids do or don't know about Father Christmas. I'm happy for them to know the truth, as long as they know that other kids might not.
That's the thing. Yeah, I feel like it's a really hard sort of thing to think about, especially when we don't have kids now. But when do you decide? Like when, you know, all the Christmas movies and all of that stuff, like you want them to have that joy and that imagination and that adventure. But then if you tell them, oh, you know, this, well, I really hope we haven't ruined this for adults. Or maybe there's someone out there that's like, what? Father Christmas is Tooth Fairy? So I apologize. But it's exactly right. If you tell your kid, oh no, you know, this is just something that's made up, and then they go and ruin some other poor kid's, like, you know, perception, it's like, but then you can't really tell them, oh, this isn't real, but you can't tell anyone. It's like, oh, but how as a kid, how are they going to wrap their head around that scenario?
Yeah.
And like,
I think actually for me, for some reason I believed in Father Christmas and the Tooth Fairy, but I didn't believe in the Easter Bunny.
Really?
Like, I knew, and so my brother was the one that was like, Santa's not real. I can't remember how old I was, 8 or 9 or something. And I was like, no, of course Father Christmas is real. How dare you? Like sticking up for Santy. And I remember like sitting on the steps outside my room, really, really glum, like so glum. And my mum and my dad came up to me and was like, it's true. I'm sorry. It's not real.
Sad.
And the first thing that then came to me was like, what about the Tooth Fairy? But for some reason, my kid brain knew that Easter Bunny was just a thing and that some people thought it was real, but that it was like a phase.
I'm the same. I have a funny story, and I think about it all the time, and it makes me laugh. I can't remember how old I would have been. I would have been pretty young, and I feel like it must have been someone at school that said something about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And I came home and I asked my mum, and she was like, yeah, Santa Claus isn't real. And I remember vividly, we were in the study, and my brain, instead of going, oh, but what about the Tooth Fairy? I went, oh, what about the Easter Bunny? Because my mum used to like go out the front down the driveway and like eat a carrot and like chew it a little bit and like spit it out and be like, oh, the Easter Bunny's come.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I asked her, I was like, what about the Easter Bunny? And she looked at me, smiled, put her hands up like in front of her and did a couple of hops. And I was like, no. I laugh about it so much now. Like, it's so funny. But at the time I was like, what?
Oh, my mum actually maintains to this day, when she was a kid, and like fun, very, very, very short side story, where my parents live in the UK, they moved there, they bought the house very shortly before I was born. But actually, when my mum was growing up, it was a holiday house owned by other people, and it's where she used to stay as a kid.
Oh, what?
And so my childhood bedroom was sometimes her childhood bedroom.
That's so
And
cool.
in that bedroom, she maintains to this day that she heard jingle bells outside of her room, or like outside of the window. And I was like, oh, Santa. And like part of her, I think, still is like, that was maybe Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Even though she knew and like found out. But she's like, I think that my parents were drunk and asleep, and I don't think it was them.
Yeah, that just reminded me. My mum has this tradition of reading the night before Christmas. the
Oh,
book,
yeah.
every Christmas. And now
All
she
through
sends
the
us text
house.
messages with it. And it's so
Aw.
cute. And one night, we'd gone to bed and we hadn't read the book. And we all got up and we were all like, oh, like, we haven't read the book. And I was in my sister's room and there was like a landing with a rail and you could see down the stairs. And we'd just come out of the sister's room and my mum and dad were walking through the hallway with a big box. And we were like, Mum, you haven't read the book. And she was like, go back to bed. What are you doing? Go back to bed. And we were like, oh. And of course, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. Like, I didn't realize. But they were wheeling in, like, in a box,
Christmas.
a bike. It was my bike,
Oh my
which I didn't
gosh.
realize until later. And she was like, oh, we've ruined it. Because I guess at that stage, I'd
Yeah.
still believed in, like, you know,
Yeah.
Santa Claus. I was like, oh, the things they do.
Yeah. Well, at my house, I think they always thought, why should Santa get all the credit? So we would have small stockings from Santa.
Yeah, and then big presents from mum and dad.
And the big, like, yeah, if they spent like a lot of money, it was like, this is definitely from
Yeah.
us. Santa's getting zero credit. Like,
Yeah,
Santa gave you a
chocolate
DVD and an
stocking.
orange
Yeah.
so that you would shut up while we sleep.
Exactly right.
I think I even said to them one year, like, if Santa wants to keep me happy and like let you sleep in, you should give me a DVD.
Yeah,
It happened.
smart kiddo.
Yeah. You know, not saying he's not real or anything, but I've never seen
Yeah.
my parents and Father Christmas in the same room.
There you go. Well, yeah, I don't think this lady, going back to our podcast
Yeah,
topic, was
let's go back to that,
sidetracked
hey.
with all the little stories. I do not think that she is an asshole. I think that she handled that very well.
I agree. She did the best with what she could in that scenario. She
Mhm.
really, really did.
Exactly.
It's.
Exactly right.
I feel for the mum in a way because it sounds like she had a lot on her plate, and this
Yeah.
does add to it.
Mhm.
But she'll get used to it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, goodness
Well,
me. Well,
I guess that's the podcast. Hey,
I think so.
Here's me thinking 3 stories. That's going to be like a 10-minute episode.
I
Not.
thought that too. And now, I mean, we did go off on a little bit of a tangent, but
That's kind of the spiel here. I think at
that's
this
what
point.
we do here
right.
at Green Girls.
Listeners, if you liked this episode, please let us know, and we'll be sure to let intern Jake know so that he can find us some more.
We can make him
More in
work
future.
again.
Yeah, put him to work.
So if you guys have listened to this, please leave us a review. I feel
Yes,
like
you can do it
I don't know if
on Apple Podcasts, and you can leave just stars on Spotify.
yeah, I was like, I looked at that because you have to listen to the episode before you can rate it, and I was like, am I allowed to rate my own
I did.
podcast? Okay, cool. I'm gonna do that now then because I was like, I'm not sure. Is that
Well, we'll have at least 2 5-star reviews.
Beautiful. So yes, guys, please leave us a review if you enjoy this, and let us know any feedback or if you want a topic that we want us to talk about. Anything.
Yes, we're all ears. It'd be really great to have some interactive episodes, get you guys to like
Definitely.
do some stuff. Less work for
Mhm.
us, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you guys for listening to today's show. If you enjoyed it, we'd love if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify, you can leave a little 5-star rating. You can follow the podcast on Instagram with @greengirls.podcast. You can follow me on Instagram with @PecanCoco, or Michaela on Instagram with @Michaela Hoffman, or @RetroKittyVintage. Coming soon.
Yes, coming soon.
If you'd like to email us to become a sponsor, or for any reason, you can do that via greengirlspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support us further in the future, you'll be able to do this on Patreon. That's all,
Alright.
folks. Look out for episodes every other Wednesday, because on Wednesdays we podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to our ramblings today. And until next time, remember, it doesn't matter if you take it slow, it matters that you take a step. Bye!
Bye.